Good morning, Corky here, Northwest Alabama. I'm going to talk a little bit on the video this morning about about music, uh, and some people are not interested in these kind of ideas. They just want to play music. That's fine. Um, but before my generation leaves the planet, we need to clarify some things because as I move through the music world, and right now I'm as into it as I've ever been in my life, or if not more. I'm meeting young musicians every week. I'm averaging anywhere from 9 to 12 uh, guitar players and mandolin players coming to my home on Tuesday nights for guitar night. I'm traveling, getting ready to go to Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I will play some music while I'm there. So the last, I don't know, 15, 20 years, I've been more active musically than ever before. And I'm 70 years old. Me and Godzilla were born in 1954. That makes me popular among the little boys right now. But I want to talk about the elements of music or the uh, components of music or the nature of music because I think that this understanding is really important. And this is prompted by a conversation I had with a young guitar player a few weeks back. We were talking about music. He was pulling up songs on his cell phone, he was streaming them on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever you use. Um, and he was talking about trying to learn a song on there, a popular song, and he just told me, he said, I don't know how to learn this on an instrument and play it because it's computer music. And when he said that, I thought, wow, that's a young person, very, um, you know, very cool young person that is in the know. And he's very current. So he knows what all the music is right now. And he's clarifying the fact that there's music that is just built on computers. And I thought about this when I watched a Taylor Swift concert recently on the television, and I was noticing her guitar players and her, and obviously they are real guitar players, and they're all playing. You know how these big celebrities are. They'll load the stage up with a lot of guitar players, and you may or may not hear what they're doing, but a lot of uh, the fabric of the music is very, you know, digital. Uh, I guess you'd call it. Uh, I struggle for the words, but anyway, uh, digitally produced drums, real probably, yes, but also other percussions are brought in with the sequencers and things like that. Uh, so what that is, it is sonic. Okay, in other words, it is sounds, and that's a big part of music is the way things sound. And so digitally, the sounds can be, perfectly, uh, produced, and it can come across, with the right sounds. So sound is a part of music. But I realized that a big part of my work over the years has been not just the sounds, but it's been the sensory part of music because my generation is distinct in that they just don't want to hear the music, they want to feel the music. So that live music is very important for my generation. Um, obviously, uh, the pop world, their fans want to go to a live concert much in the same way as they want to go to the theater to see a favorite movie before they ever start streaming it on television at home. Like this recent movie Twisters, I want to see it in the theater. I haven't yet, but I want to because I think tornadoes need to be seen in theaters and not just on a small screen in your home. It's going to be better that way. And definitely Godzilla uh, in the theater for sure. So there is there is that sonic thing which tends to dominate the way music is produced during this time in history. But my generation was very involved in the sensory aspect of music. And this pertains to live music and, in particular, social music, so that you're sitting around a campfire strumming a guitar and everybody's singing. There is this experience that you have, the pitch of the notes that are sung or played, and all of the quality may not be the biggest draw of a campfire sing along. It may be the sensory experience, especially around a fire, and then the sounds of people around you singing. Same goes for worship music, which my son in law and daughter, both of my daughters, two oldest and son in law, are involved in worship music production. And, um, that is experiential very much so. And when I go to church on Sunday here in Alabama, there's a live band there. And it's very, very, very familiar to me. We're probably at 100 decibels in the room. And for sure, I get the full sensory experience of the bass, drums, keyboards, guitars, strings, whatever's up there, and vocals. And it's in a live context. And the place that you sit in the auditorium, you get a different experience of the sonic dimension. If you sit to the far left of the stage near the subwoofer, you're going to get, a heavy dose of bass and drums. And so I'm very comfortable in that I'm not looking to clear all that up. Because for me, music is sonic, yes. It's auditory. Of course, I have tinnitus from, playing rock music, so I hear a tea kettle all the time. So that the sensory nature of the music becomes even more important to me the older I get. I want to feel it. I want to feel the vibrations, the vibes, if you please. So that takes me back to my early, musical experiences and, being in live concerts and my relationship with certain instruments. You have to know that a stomp box or some type of guitar processor can perfectly reproduce a guitar sound that came out in the 60s, that you can get that sample, you can dial it up, and it will give you the exact sensory experience, sonic experience of that guitar sound, which probably was invented by John Lennon or Link Ray or somebody, or, Ray and Dave Davies of the Kinks. They invented guitar sounds, Jimi Hendrix, and the way that it sounds. And that can be recorded digitally and it can be distributed digitally, and the sonic nature of it is really there. But it's not the same. Guitar pedal is not the same as an overdriven tube amp that's near you. I mean, you actually can smell the tubes, vacuum tubes in those amplifiers, and there is this whole experience that you have. Uh, Drums, uh, there's a physical aspect to it, if you want to say, spatial aspect to it, where you're standing in relationship to the drums. Uh, you get different vibrations, different experience. Um, I emphasize playing music, live music, especially acoustic music, and it's vibrating into your heart. And I talked to a saxophone player not too long ago who said, I can beat you on that because I breathe the music into my lungs. So there's this sensory dynamic to music that the digital age is, struggling to produce. And so I worked for 8 years full time with adults with intellectual disabilities, and I did music services, what you would call music therapy activities, with these people full time for 8 years. And I witnessed their interactions with different instruments that were played live with them. I used a lot of digitally recorded music, yes, tracks and so forth, but there was always live instruments in the room, whether it was, acoustic stringed instruments or drums, percussion instruments. And I witnessed in particular uh, the way that those clients reacted to an accordion. That was very interesting, especially those with autism. Because an accordion, when it's played, a large accordion, sound not only comes out the front, comes out the sides, and it's coming over the shoulders. So it fills the room up with vibrations. And it was very interesting to me to watch these individuals with autism step up in the room and get around that accordion and feel the vibrations. So there was things happening there with them that the average music listener doesn't know anything about. There are properties in music, live music, that are unique. You don't get them from a CD or a DVD. There is an experience in the room, small or large. The other thing which I always come back to is a Hammond B3 organ plugged into a Leslie cabinet. That is a particular thing. And back in the day, you can put microphones on a Leslie speaker, and you can amplify the sound of a Hammond organ, but it's nothing like being in the room with a Hammond organ and Leslie, because the Leslie speaker has a rotating horn and sometimes a rotating speaker, and it's swirling, and those sounds are moving around you, behind you, beside you. And I've been very close to Greg Allman's Hammond organ and Leslie and felt it in the room when I went to see the Allman Brothers. And those were very formative experiences for me. Then there's the African American Church and their use of the Hammond organ and Leslie. They're nothing like it. There's no CD, no MP3, MP4, nothing can reproduce the physical dynamic and the experiential properties of a black church when the Hammond organ is in the room. and it's overriding the PA set, and you know, there are just things that happen there. They're somewhat spiritual, they're sensory, uh, and the Grateful Dead, they exploited this whole idea, and that was what their band was based on. The ideas of that when people come together with musicians in a live context, that the sum is the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Okay, so sensory part about music. So you need to find ways in which you can capture the sensory properties of music in your music making. This is something that the digital age can't help you with. Okay. I was going to talk about the sonic, talked about the sensory aspects of music, and there's just healing properties in music that can only be communicated live. So I want to encourage all of you out there and some of you need to be pioneers in this. You need to really carry this banner through the future, because when we're gone in a few years, there's nobody going to even understand what this is, much less be able to promote it. So this is just Corky talking, my own theories, and I appreciate y'all watching. You have a great day.